Welcome back to another episode of Reflect Live, the podcast where stories come to life and hearts are opened. I'm your host, Michelle. Here in Reflect Live, we offer a platform for people from all walks of life to share their experiences, their triumphs, and their challenges. It's a space where people thrive and connections are made through the power of storytelling. And today we have something truly special in store for you. So grab your favorite beverage, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into another episode of Reflect Live. Get ready to be inspired, moved, and maybe even crack a smile or two. This is Reflect Live with Michelle.
Hi, you've reached Reflect Live podcast, and I am your host, Michelle. And I have the pleasure to have Cindy Clark with me. How are you doing, Cindy?
Hey, everyone. Hey, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Cindy is on. She has wrote 2 books, and she also
Three.
has three books.
Yeah.
And how many songs do you have out there now?
Well, I don't know. I can't keep count. I just mainly have some on my website right now, and then I go out and sing at retirement homes and different places.
Oh,
and I have a event coming up that I was invited to go to. It's a Senior Expo in Jackson, Tennessee that I'm going to be singing at too. So
that's amazing. And we're going to get into your singing just a little bit. What inspired you to write God's Rainbow of Hope?
Well, after my mom had passed, I was writing, about my grief and everything. And then one day after my mom had passed, was in a big store, and I saw a bunch of people run to the door, to the window, and they were all excited, and there was a double rainbow. I said, oh, that would be a perfect title for my book. And so that day I wrote the title down, and then I started writing. And then thought about, my friends have been through a lot of stuff too. And so I will just let them add to my book of how, what Bible verses helped them and then, how they made it through, some really tough times. And I started reading their stories during that grief process, and it helped me a lot during that time. So,
can you share about your mom?
Well, every night she read the Bible to us, to me and my brother. And you don't see that very often, I don't think. We started like in Genesis. And probably since I was born, she was reading the Bible to me. Wow. And she would have, when we got old enough, she would have us to read out loud. And we would try to pronounce all those names, like the genealogies and stuff like that. Right. There's a bunch of that in there too. But we would read the Bible every single night, and then we would sing praises to God and pray together every single night. I don't remember missing one night growing up. And of course, church and all that. So, and then she was like the virtuous woman, Proverbs 31 in the Bible. People spoke highly of my dad, which, Proverbs 31 tells about that, where, they spoke highly of her husband because, of course, she was, a great example for my dad, and kind of set him straight a couple times and more. And it's just, and then she stayed at home with us and she sewed, she sewed things for us. And that's what the virtuous woman did. And she taught me how to go out first as soon as I could, how to go out and sell Avon and different things so that I could learn how to, try to make a living and, do things and all with it. You made sure I didn't get lazy or anything, in other words.
Yeah.
But
so you were close to your mom?
What now?
You were close to your mom?
Well, of course, as a teenager, I kind of grew away because I had my own thoughts and my own ways. And, but then as got older, we got closer and everything. So
I remember my grandma used to read the Bible to me when I was from little on to like 10, 12, 13. And I remember I was getting up to like 10, 11, 12. And I'm just like, oh, can we stop reading this now? It's like when you're like Exodus, Leviticus, you're like, did you ever have that feeling when you were younger?
I don't remember that. It's just that I just had my own, thoughts, and I didn't agree with everything, and I wanted to go my own way and different things. Not that I wanted to stray away from God or anything, but
Can you give an
and
example of what you're talking about when you said that you have different thoughts?
well, kind of caught me off guard here. I just didn't feel like going to church all the time,
Sure.
and she wanted me to be in church and all that, and I was real shy, and
Mhm.
so even now it's kind of hard for me to get out in crowds and everything. So things like that. But then I was sick all the time. It seems like I was sick a lot, and that was another thing. She always took really good care of me and everything.
Yeah.
So she had to deal with me being sick all the time. And I missed church anyway, when I was sick, but I just got where I didn't feel like going to church even when I felt good. So,
Sure. Yeah.
because I was real
And
shy.
and I don't, well, I was going to say, I think everybody, but I'm going to speak on behalf of myself. I was the
Mhm.
same way too. You get to a
Mhm.
certain age, you're like, I don't want to do this. But then
Mhm.
as we get an adult
Yeah.
and see the importance, when was your turning point to go back to church and get involved?
Well, when I went to Freed Harmon University,
Okay.
well, it's FH. I mean, it's Freed Harmon University now. It's Freed Harmon College. When I went to a Christian college, and that was my dream. I mean, that
Mhm.
was my parents' dream for me,
Mhm.
and I became stronger then. Got where I got. I had to. I was kind of pushed into being, without my mom, going to college and everything. You had to grow up pretty much, and go towards God or away from God, when you're away from your parents.
And you
Mm.
said that your mom passed. At what age was that?
It was 5 years ago. She
5 years.
was in her 90s.
She was in her 90s?
Well, late 80s, 90s. See, I'm not very good at
Yeah,
remembering numbers and all and
that's
everything, but
great.
yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sitting with her, and I was singing. We were
Mhm.
doing our little Bible, story time, and mainly we were singing praises to God. And she had to be in a nursing home, and I hated that,
Mhm.
but I couldn't help it because I had spine surgery and I couldn't really take
Mhm.
care of her.
Mhm.
But all the nurses came in and they were very touched by what we were doing and everything. So,
So
and they
great.
said that my mom made a big difference in
Mm.
their lives while she was there. So,
That's amazing.
but I was singing all these church songs with her and
Mm.
everything.
So with the God's Rainbow of Hope, and you wrote that after her passing?
Yes, yeah, I started writing, because I was writing about my grief and everything. And this was, then COVID came along, and we needed to stay. Everybody, of course, everybody remembers you had to stay inside. And so during that time, well, I did kind of get writer's block during that time. And then this teacher well, she was a Sunday school teacher. She decided to do email, doing devotionals by
Mhm.
email to all the ladies at church. And she asked me to do some. And a lot of that book at the end are those devotionals that I
Mm.
did. And it
Oh.
just came. I mean, I tell people, how did I become a writer when I can't spell half the time? And I mean, I don't even like reading except for the Bible. So
Mhm.
it all came to me,
Mhm.
and I never thought of being
If
a
it's His
writer. And I
will, it
love
will
it now.
come. Yeah.
What now?
I said, if it's His will, it will come.
It looks like it was his will.
Yes, yes.
So,
And so at the very beginning, and this is on your website, so anybody can go to, is it cindyclark.com?
.net, not
.net.
com.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
There
So
is
that's a,
that's weird is when I checked cindyclark.com, well, when I messed up, there is a Cindy Clark, but it's sure not me. I mean, it's .net.
so
Yeah.
cindyclark.net. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you'll run across these two books, and we'll focus on this one really quick. But at and so I'm just going to read this really quick at the very beginning. This book started after my precious, sweet Christian mother passed away, as I was holding her hand, looking into her eyes, singing, I'll Fly Away. Was that one of her favorite songs?
It was just one of the songs that I was thinking about. Yeah, it was one of her favorite songs. And I thought about as she was passing, I thought
Mhm.
about her, flying away.
Mm.
Because right before, well, that very day, my brother was rushing me to the where she was at, and I saw something across the sky, and I thought about her. It looked like
Mm.
something, I don't know what it was, but it was something shooting across the sky, and it made me think about her. towards the sunset. I mean,
Yes.
not sunset, but sunrise in the
Mhm.
morning. So, and then I sung that song and other songs too. One of the other songs was "The Wind Beneath." And at her cemetery, after the limousine had pulled up, I'm not kidding you, I saw an eagle right there at the, and I'd sung that song, "The Wind Beneath My Wings," which is, about flying like an eagle, eagles.
Sure, absolutely. So, what I'd like to do right now, Cindy, is since you mentioned "I'll Fly Away" in the dialogue of on your website, I'd like to go ahead and play you singing that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Here we go. Glad morning, when this life is over, I'll fly away to God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when hallelujah by and by. I'll fly away just a more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away.
Was that me?
Great job.
Well, that book, I was looking at my book too, and it reminds me of, what part of heaven may be like, 'cause that is a pretty picture.
It is a very pretty picture, yes.
Yeah,
And it says here that you almost stopped writing.
right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Writer's block. Teacher at church had a, did I tell you that already?
You have not.
Okay. Had a, during COVID, she had a thing going by email, devotionals for the ladies, and she asked me to write some devotionals. She had put out a lot of books herself, and so she encouraged me, and a lot of my book here has the devotionals that I did during COVID, during the pandemic and everything.
So great.
And so, but yeah.
Is there
So
anything else that you want to tell us about your mama before we go on to your other book?
yeah, she was the best. That's all I can say. Because to teach someone about God and to love God is the best thing a mother can do. I would think.
Yeah. And how are you doing right now, Cindy?
Well, I'm not crying right now while I'm talking to you, and I listen to the. I mean, not that it's bad to cry. I mean, Jesus wept, but I could talk.
Cry, yes.
Yeah, I could talk about it without losing it pretty much, I guess now. I mean, I'm almost crying, but she's in a better place. I mean, I know she's not suffering, but it's still, I still miss her. I do have times like March 16th marked, the 5th anniversary of her death, and so I was crying a lot then and everything. So,
Yeah. Did you do any memorial or anything on that day? Remembrance or anything like that?
I don't remember doing that. I just prayed a lot and everything. And I went outside and I said I miss my mom and I miss you, mom, and just like I was talking to her.
Sure.
And I see when I do get upset, there's different things like in nature that comforts me. The cardinals, what people say about cardinals, that means maybe an angel is around. And I'm seeing white feathers, that I'm collecting right now. So, I mean, just different things that remind me that my mom is okay. And when I was at the Creation Museum after my mom passed, I'm pretty sure you've heard of Creation Museum and Noah's Ark Museum in Kentucky.
Yep.
Well, I was walking and this lady came from nowhere, and my husband said, he saw her and she said, "Let me pray with you." And then
Really?
yeah, yeah, and she said, "I need to pray with you." And she said, and then after that, I started crying, and I looked in her eyes, and it looked like the color of my mom's eyes. And then she said, "You need to let your mom go. You got things to do." And then she was gone.
And she didn't narrate that. You just gave me chills. My hair.
So I mean, yeah, I'm getting them too after talking about it. Yeah, but I mean, it says you shall entertain angels unaware. So I mean, and they'll watch over you.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Was that before that you wrote your book?
Oh, I was still writing, and so I wrote that in there in the book.
Sure.
It's in the book.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, so let's go to Sunny Hope Joy Days. What is
Mm.
this book about?
That is about three
Your dog
dogs.
that we met earlier?
Yeah, she's still alive and well, and
Mm-hmm.
she's spreading hope to everyone. And then let me see, Joy, she had passed away. She used to go to children's homes
Mm-hmm.
with us and dance for the children and everything. And then she passed away, and I lost my joy for a little while. I mean, literally, I lost my
Yes.
joy because see, we were not able to have children because my health reasons and tried to adopt and that didn't work out either, and I was just brokenhearted about that. And so we adopted dogs and I trained them to go, we went to children's home to perform, and I sung there and I trained my dog to do that. And then she passed, and then Sonny came along and he started doing the same things. He started dancing around and he would go to retirement homes with me. Well, he passed away after my mom had passed away, and then Hope comes along.
Tell us about
Say
Hope.
hi. Okay, Hope.
Hi, Hope.
Well, there she goes.
Here she goes. Hope.
I named her Hope. She came to me. Well, my husband bought her for me as my other dog, Sonny, was passing, and then he had heart problems, and then my mom had just passed away. And so I hope I don't start crying on this. But anyway, I named her Hope. And I just didn't think I could deal with trying to raise a puppy and teach her all the stuff that I wanted to teach her. And she was a runner too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she would run out in the highway. I mean, anytime somebody come to see me, I had just had surgery too, spine surgery.
Wow.
She would run out the door, and then here I was with a walker, and then the elderly lady that we were renting from, she went to church with us. She was out there chasing her, and my neighbor that was pregnant was out there chasing her all the time. But I was going to give her to a friend, and I think that very day I got a note in the mail. It was a card and it says, "Never give up hope." And that
Oh,
reminds me, I am so glad I kept her because I mean she started dancing, at shows that I started doing and everything. So, and like if I get upset, she's a support and therapy dog both.
wow.
When I start getting upset, she can tell. She'll come up to my nose and it sounds like she's saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, no, no, no," like that. So she can,
Oh.
you've heard of dogs
Huh?
saying, "I love you." Well, I mean, she can talk if she knows that I'm getting upset or something.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, and everywhere she goes, people want to kidnap her. And I mean, she's been to hospitals with me when I've had surgeries and stuff like that, and people just fall in love with her. So she helps a lot of people. And when she goes to retirement homes, people want to kidnap her. They ask if they could have her and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's
Did
my
you
hope.
have to get a service dog certification for the hospital?
It was a support. There's a difference. I mean, I got support certification.
Okay.
And I did that online. Of course, I trained her myself, and they saw where the things that she done, that she was already pretty much trained and everything. But I'm
So
planning.
being a support certificator, they can go into hospitals and stuff.
They let her. I mean, this was before I was even finished with what's the word, getting her certified.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they were already letting her because she was so well behaved, so well
Mhm.
trained and everything. And the vet wrote a letter for her that, how she was and that she was like one. And then, my doctor and everything. So, yeah.
That's great.
But she came when I needed hope. And that's the reason I named her Hope. So I was about ready to give her up, but I'm so glad I didn't.
That is so
Such a
amazing.
blessing. And she learns from him, and she just started doing her own things too.
Mhm.
So they're my babies. I mean, they were my babies, and she's my baby now. Hope is my baby. So, and she just loves. I mean, that's her thing. She loves to go to retirement homes or anywhere and just make people happy. But with her dances and everything,
That's
and
cool.
when I do shows, singing shows.
Yeah, so Cindy wants to teach children as well as adults to trust God to comfort and help you with their heartache of death of a pet or loved one. God understands and heals broken hearts. Psalms 147:3. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that. And then I just want to, I'm scrolling slowly so people can read
Okay.
this on your website. What else do you have going on? You said that you're going to be on the road.
Well, it's just 30 minutes away. It's the Senior Expo in Jackson, Tennessee at the Civic Center. And I sang at retirement homes and everything. And really, actually, I first started with special needs people. And we would have like, Easter seals in different places like that would come to the church building, and different businesses around town would provide meals, and I would do, puppets. I would have people doing puppets, and we had clowns, which I don't like clowns anymore for some reason. They're starting to, but anyway, we would have Santa Claus, Easter bunnies, different things like that. And most of my group, I would call my group the encouragers that were helping with that, but most of them have passed away or moved away. And now I'm wanting to start another group, because I'm not able to do a whole hour just about anymore.
Do you have a
Hopefully,
Facebook group, or if somebody's interested in joining?
just, I guess, send me an email.
Okay.
My email is on my website,
Okay.
www.cindyclark.net. But anyway, I'm supposed to sing for that, the Senior Expo in Jackson, Tennessee on the 23rd
On
of
23rd.
May. And I got a bunch of other singing things that I've been invited to.
What would be words of wisdom for our listeners that you want to leave?
Well, never give up hope. Put God first. Study His Word, the Bible. And please never blame Him. I mean, if anything, blame Satan or whatever you want to call him, the evil one, because he's the one that really started all this pain in the first place with sin. I mean, so, I mean, sin is what causes a lot of problems and everything in this world. So, if anything, blame him. He's the one that started it all.
Sure. I agree.
But I mean, just, look out when you're, try to look for the best in every situation. Like this right here, I've lost several friends to COVID. I lost my mom. I lost my little fur babies, and but every time God, comes back around and blesses us with the losses, if we just, be patient and everything. Because I mean, my books came out from hardships, and the singing came out from hardships and everything. Just go out and look at what He has given us. I mean, look at this beautiful world that He's given us, the birds. I mean, listen to the birds sing to you, and just this beautiful world, I mean, that He's given us,
You're exactly right.
and each other,
Yeah.
love of the people that love us and everything. So count your many blessings, your problems may disappear. So that's what I put on my answer machines.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you for
Well,
having me.
absolutely.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.